I was in the United States to brief a military unit about what I did in Africa. The Secret Service was super keen to talk to me. And then about a week or two before I'm supposed to go there, I get a phone call from the guy who's hosting me. And he said, have you ever been to the White House? I'm like, no. He goes, well, bring a suit. Once you talk to our guys, we'd love to take you to the White House and give you a tour of the White House. And they said, just wait in here. So I'm in this room, and they say, just wait here. And they go into another door. The door opens, I hear some talking and stuff, and then I walk in and I'm met by President Trump. Looks at me, walks over, puts his hand out, and the first thing he says to me is, thank you for saving American lives.
Is that the first person that thanked you from a high-ranking government position?
Yes. Well, no. In person, yes. Immediately after the incident, there was a government minister from UK phoned me up and sent me a letter. People from the army, people from members of the military, members of diplomats in Kenya did, but no one outside that, and no one ever has since either. But President Trump, he was, thank you for saving American lives. I went into that private study. There was no media there. The British government didn't know about it. So in theory, there's absolutely no gain whatsoever for the president. No gain at all. Mm-hmm. But he took time out to thank me for saving Americans. Something to think about. Something to acknowledge, I'd say.
The mainstream media can say all the shit they want, and they're trying, but the people aren't buying it.
You know, it's funny because right after my last fight, he was cage side with Dana, and he invited me out to Bedminster in Jersey. He was like, come golf with me. Coolest freaking dude, man. He was so with it, so smart, asking me about fighting. We were talking about, all the boxing. We talked about football, talked about golf, and couldn't believe how smart and sharp the guy was. I was like, wow, this is
bizarre, right?
Right, super with it.
He's the only guy that went through 4 years in the White House and didn't seem to age.
No.
Everybody gets in that White House and they just fall apart. Their hair gets gray. They look tired all the time. They just look like the weight of the world, which it literally is.
Right.
It's on their shoulders.
I think he loves it. Oh, this was the craziest thing. So him and LT were playing $1,000 a hole or something. All came down to this last hole, and they both hit great drives. And LT hit a good approach shot, and Trump gets up there. He's probably 150 yards from the green, and he sets up, just stripes it straight at the pin. Ball's in the middle of the arc, not even coming down yet. He turns around, doesn't even watch it land, walks right back to the cart, sits down. And the guy's like, nice shot, Mr. President. And I was like, damn, that was clutch. And he looks at me and he goes, don't you want your president to be clutch? And I was like, for sure, man. And he hit it 2 feet from the pin and tapped it in. And I was like, jeez.
That's pretty slick.
It was slick. I was like, he was just a cool dude, though. It was funny.
It's a weird time because there's people in this country that want to think he's Hitler.
I know.
It's very strange.
You couldn't convince me otherwise, just hanging out with the guy. I'm like, man.
Do you ever get pushback, though, from that relationship, especially during COVID?
Because I don't give a shit. That guy's been a friend of mine for 20 years. He's one of the most stand-up, solid dudes that I've ever met in my life. If he gives you his word, done. When he called me, this was when he was first going to run, and this is what he said to me. And let me explain this to you, too. This brand was so bad that venues didn't even want us. These arenas didn't want to sit there. They're like, whoa, we don't want this stuff in our arena. So we had a hard time finding venues. And Trump literally called us. Now remember this, think about this, where the Trump brand was. Here, UFC brand was down here. Come to my place, do the event here, we'll have you at the Trump Taj Mahal, blah, 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 blah. We get there, greatest setup for us. He did this whole thing for us, showed up to the first fight, and was there till the last fight. Both times we went there. Everything that happened to me in my career from there on out, he would pick up the phone and congratulate me or send something. Always been a solid guy with me. So then he calls me and says, I'm running for president. Now listen, if you don't want to do this, I completely understand. But I would be honored if you would speak at the National Republican Convention for me. Everybody told me not to do it. Everybody. And I'm like, this guy all the things that he's done for me, I'm going to tell him, no, it's not me. I went up and I told people the truth, who he is, what he's done for me.
If you want to know who Trump is, watch the reaction to Trump. I mean, that's really it. I think Trump is politically moderate. And I think that not because I'm totally crazy, I think I'm pretty moderate too, to be honest. I don't want radical change. But neither does Trump. And they're treating him like he's a Nazi, and that says everything about them.
Well, you know what's so funny? I was talking about it on stage.
It's still ridiculous.
I'm so tired of being yelled at by like online about people hate him. Like, listen, I'm not a huge fan of him either, but so many people are like, I hate him, that now I kind of like him.
Trump, I asked him if he thought I could be a if he thought I could work in politics one day. He
like
said,
he knew you and shit?
No, he didn't. But he's like, yes, you can. Here's the best thing about Trump. I will say this, man. He's like, you're doing great. You're fine. You're good. He goes, your parents are great. I was like, my dad been dead for 30 years. He goes,
he a bullshitter.
No, but he goes, but before that, he was doing good. Bro, I fucking laughed so hard.
Oh, the gang, I would have laughed too. I would have laughed,
bro.
Sure.
I laughed so hard, man, because he was right, kind of. He like makes you feel, you know, he's just good at shaking. He just makes you feel excited, you know.
When I met him, I can't explain it. He makes you feel like he's a blue collar person that's been driving garbage trucks his entire life. The way that I'm serious, I'm not kidding. Like the way he communicates with people, you do not feel that he's this elite, untouchable billionaire that comes from a wealthy family at all. And when he looks at you, he wants you to feel seen. He's very funny. That's the thing that I think gets lost, is how hilarious he is. I mean, he breaks the ice. There's not an awkward moment when you're with him. I remember walking into the Oval Office the first time that I met him, and I was so nervous. And one of the worst things, I love you. I watch you on Fox News, all this stuff. And then he says, and I want to say also, you're very beautiful, but I don't want to get me too'd. I don't want to get me too'd. Like, that's very funny for the president of the United States to say in the Oval Office at the height of the Me Too movement. It's just funny.
Oh, that's so funny.
And so he just is able to relate to people in a way. And I try to tell people he has a magnetic personality, and there's nothing that the media can do to take that away, because if he gets in front of people, he's going to be able to unleash that.
I have no idea what it'd be like to be president, but I have a feeling what Putin said about the presidents might be true. Did you ever see what Putin said?
Yes. 8 years, they come and go.
Yeah. I've seen 3 presidents. I've seen a lot of presidents come and go, and they all come with these grand ideas. But once they get in office, the people with the briefcases and the dark suits come in and sit them down because of the strong bureaucracy inside of the United States and explain to them how things are done. And they never seem to get their ideas done. They never seem to do the things they said they were going to do.
Do you include Trump in that?
I think Trump tried his very best to resist that, and that's why he's in the situation he's in. That's why they're taking him to court for no reason. That's why he was Matrix attacked. I mean, if Trump's, okay, let's cut the guard. I'm going back to jail anyway, probably with this Matrix attack. They're gonna try and kill me anyway. They probably are. If Trump's situation isn't a Matrix attack, what is? What did they just hit him with in New York? Some defamation for defending himself against a lie? If that's not a Matrix attack, tell me what is possibly else. Anyone who's sitting out here who actually truly believes that the Matrix doesn't exist has no idea how the world works. The media machine and the legal system work hand in hand to try and slander people's name and convince the populace enough that they're guilty so there's no revolt, so they can hit them with a guilty plea. They've already decided before all of it. It's all a plan. This many months of negative news, then we'll hit him with this, we'll get him guilty for this, and with this many months of negative news, the populace will probably swallow it. It's garbage. It's a Matrix attack from head to toe.
Then he becomes the president of the United States, and suddenly I've got this guy that I've become pretty friendly with, who used to ring me every 3 or 4 weeks for a chat about life, and now he's the most powerful man in the world. From a loyalty perspective, which I think is a trait overlooked with Trump, when he became president, I rang him and I said to him, actually first I would say when I left CNN, he was one of only 3 or 4 people in America who bothered to contact me afterwards. And he contacted me every month for a few months. How are you doing? Are you okay? Can I help you? Right now, people might say he had a vested interest in case you pop back with a big job. Or maybe, but so did lots of people. And he was one of only a handful of people that bothered to actually contact me regularly to check I was okay and could he help. I never forgot that. Similarly, when he won the presidency, I rang him And we had a chat about a week later. And I said, just one favor. Of course, champ. He used to always call me champ because I won his show. Of course, champ. What is it? I said, I just want to have your first international television interview. I know you're going to do a domestic one in America, but first international. Done. And a few months later, I was at Davos in Switzerland, a 45-minute wide-ranging interview with the President of the United States, which was spectacularly good for my career, and he kept his word. So Trump, if you were loyal to him, was very, very, very loyal back.